My name is Alexi, and I spend way too much time thinking about the psychology of the top 10%. If you're someone who feels like you're working harder than ever, but your bank balance is stuck in the same place, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Look, here's the thing. Most people think that hitting the $1,000,000 mark is the end of the game. They imagine Ferraris, private jets, and gold-plated steaks. But if you actually talk to someone who has $1,000,000 sitting in liquid assets in 2026, the reality is, well, it's a lot more boring than you'd think. Actually, boring isn't the right word. It's calculated. The $1,000 reality check. Before we dive into the list, we need to address the elephant in the room. In 2026, $1,000,000 isn't what it was in 1990. Thanks to a cumulative inflation spike of over 25% since 2020, $1,000,000 today has the purchasing power that $798,000 had just 6 years ago. Here's what most people don't realize. According to recent Federal Reserve data, the average American household net worth has actually passed the $1,000,000 mark. But, and this is a huge but, most of that is trapped in home equity. When we talk about millionaires, we're talking about people with $1,000 in liquid assets, cash, stocks, and bonds. Only about 3% of U.S. households actually hit that liquid threshold. And what they buy with that money? It will probably surprise you. It's not about showing wealth. It's about buying back the things that wealth actually provides. 1. They buy the lag, automation. The first thing a millionaire buys isn't a product, it's a system. Most people spend their money in manual mode. They get a paycheck, they pay bills, and they hope there's something left at the end of the month. Millionaires buy automation. This is where it gets really interesting. Psychological studies show that decision fatigue is the silent killer of wealth. If you have to decide to save every month, you'll eventually fail. Millionaires set up what's called the lag. When they get a bonus or a raise, that money is automatically routed to an investment account at a different institution before they ever see it in their checking account. They effectively buy a lifestyle that trails their income by at least a year. While the middle class celebrates a 10% raise with a 10% more expensive car lease, the millionaire keeps their spending flat and lets the math do the heavy lifting. 2. They buy $2,000 a month in safety, the 3.9% rule. Now, you might be thinking, Alexi, if I had $1,000,000, I'd be set for life. Well, let's look at the math. In 2026, the old 4% rule for retirement has been revised down by firms like Morningstar to roughly 3.9%. $1,000,000 times 0.039 equals $39,000 per year. That's about $3,250 a month before taxes. If you live in a city like Los Angeles or New York, $3,250 a month barely covers rent and groceries. This is why millionaires don't buy luxury, they buy security. They buy the peace of mind knowing that their basic survival is covered by their assets, not their boss. They aren't buying Lambos, they're buying the ability to say no to a job they hate. 3. They buy the boring safety net. The middle class often saves money by skipping insurance or choosing the highest possible deductible to lower their monthly premium. Millionaires do the opposite. They buy the boring safety net. They pay for high-limit umbrella insurance, comprehensive disability coverage, and they maintain an emergency fund that could last 12 months, not 3. Why? Because they understand loss aversion. It takes years to build $1,000,000, but one uninsured lawsuit or a major medical crisis can wipe it out in a week. They buy the right to never have to start over from zero. 4. They buy time leverage, not convenience. There's a massive difference between buying convenience and buying leverage. Convenience is paying $25 for DoorDash because you were too lazy to cook. This is a leak that keeps people poor. Leverage is paying a personal assistant or a specialized service to handle administrative tasks, laundry, or yard work so you can focus on your $500 per hour skill set. Data from My Staff HQ suggests that high net worth individuals view household staff as an investment in efficiency. If your time is worth $100 an hour and you spend 4 hours a week doing $20 per hour tasks, you are effectively losing $320 a week. Millionaires run that math and buy those 4 hours back. 5. They buy the scrub, digital privacy. While the new money crowd is busy posting their location on Instagram, the truly wealthy are paying lawyers to scrub their names from the internet. They buy anonymity. They set up LLCs and blind trusts to purchase their homes so their names don't appear in public property records. They pay for services that remove their personal data from people search sites. They realize that in 2026, privacy is a luxury. Being famous or visible is a liability that leads to higher insurance premiums and more people asking for loans, which we all know are actually gifts. 6. They buy the 48-hour pre-commit. This is a psychological tool more than a physical purchase, but they buy into the system of pre-commitment. They don't make impulse purchases. Instead, they buy a cooling-off period. Many millionaires have a rule. Any purchase over $500 requires a 48-hour waiting period. By the time the 48 hours are up, the dopamine hit of the new thing has worn off and the rational brain takes over. They buy the ability to ignore the limited-time offer marketing tactics that plague everyone else. 7. They buy quality assets, the Toyota paradox. You've probably heard the stat, 61% of wealthy people drive Toyotas, Fords, and Hondas. Why? Because a millionaire buys durability, not status. They realize that a car is a depreciating asset that loses 20% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. They buy a 3-year-old Lexus that will last 15 years, rather than a brand new BMW that will be in the shop every 6 months. They apply this to everything, from high-quality boots that can be resold to kitchen appliances with 20-year warranties. They buy things once, while the middle class buys the cheap version 5 times. 8. They buy the order of operations. Most people invest whatever's left over. Millionaires buy the order. They follow a strict mathematical hierarchy. 1. High-interest debt. 2. 401k match. That's 100% immediate return. You'd be crazy to miss it. 3. HSA, the 3 tax advantage. 4. Roth IRA or taxable brokerage. They don't guess. They don't feel like crypto is a good move today. They buy into a proven mathematical framework and they don't deviate. 9. They buy the gap. The most important thing a person with $1 million buys is the gap. The gap is the distance between their actual lifestyle and their potential lifestyle. If you earn $200K but live like you earn $80K, you have a massive gap. That gap is where wealth is created. Most people try to close the gap as soon as they get a raise. Millionaires protect the gap like their life depends on it. 10. They buy conscious experiences. Finally, and this is the most surprising one, they buy memories that appreciate. Psychology tells us that the joy from a new thing, a watch, a bag, fades in days, but the joy from a shared experience actually increases over time as you reminisce. Millionaires will balk at a $200 designer t-shirt, but will happily spend $5,000 on a family trip to a national park or a cultural heritage site. They buy social capital and emotional legacy. Your action step. Look, I know what you're thinking. Alexi, I don't have $1 million yet. How does this help me? Here's the thing. You don't wait until you have $1 million to act like a millionaire. You act like a millionaire to get the $1 million. Today, I want you to buy the scrub. No, not the digital privacy kind. I want you to scrub your bank statement. Find one convenience expense, a subscription you don't use, a delivery fee habit, and kill it. Take that money and automate it into a boring index fund. Wealth isn't about the $1 million. It's about the discipline it took to get there. If you want to see exactly how I track my own gap and stay on the path to financial freedom, check out my video on the perfect 20% savings strategy right here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.